Welcome everyone to the Mail Fuzz TV News Podcast. I am Peter, and joining me, as always, is Connor.
Still here.
Sound so thrilled and happy to be here. Like you're enthusiastic to hear about all this TV news.
Yeah, I was, and then I saw your face. So,
well, we got pilots, we got series renewals, we got shows in development, we got multiverses. Well, no, that's not quite true, but because they keep wanting to do shared universes, so I'm like,
Oh, okay, yeah. It's not a multiverse, though, is it?
It's a multiverse of shared universes.
Oh, you got me there.
if they ever do the Marvel and DC crossover movie, all of a sudden it's a multiverse of shared universes.
Just expands exponentially.
Yes, then everything's included. We'll have the Frasier and Scooby-Doo meets Superman and Jack Skellington crossover. Anyway,
what TV show is it where that's like because there's like a show exists within that show.
Yes.
So all these other things.
I'm sure I told you, but this is the.
Yeah, we've spoken about this before.
Yeah,
I can't remember what show it was.
It's what I was saying elsewhere. It's a show in the 80s. It was set at a hospital.
Yeah.
And the show ended with like one of the main characters' kids. There was like a weird reveal at the end where the entire show took place in his head. Right, it sort of revealed that the hospital was in a snow globe or something like that. But it basically messed things up because that show crossed over with a few other things. It crossed over with Cheers, it crossed over with a few things, and it basically says, well, doesn't that mean that those shows are also in his head? And then over time, people have done the connective work, and there's been enough Easter eggs implying that certain things are in the same universe that you can keep going to a silly degree.
The original stupid multiverse.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so there you go. Yes, so yeah, TV news, everyone. Welcome. We'll get into things. We've got all the usual stuff to talk about. Is there anything to inform you about the channel? Not really. We had the finale of this Quantum Leap show this past week. It was alright. Last few episodes were better. It had been kind of rough for a while in the middle. It was almost like when they got an extension of like 6 episodes, they're like, well, we'll just do 6 filler episodes and then get back to what the end game was.
Panicked.
Yeah, that's the way it felt to me. I could be wrong, but that was the vibe I got. And we got the penultimate episode of Picard. That review just went up yesterday. They hit a lot of nostalgia buttons. Get it at this finale. So for better and worse. Mostly better. Honestly, season 3 has got a lot of faults, but season 1 and 2 were absolute trash that it feels like prestige TV in comparison. So
hey, that's the trick. You set those expectations right at the floor, and then you do the bare minimum, and all of a sudden you're gold.
It really was low expectations going in. Like they couldn't have set the expectations lower after season 2 of Picard. It was awful. So pleasantly surprised in many ways. But anyway, so we'll get into all the stuff going on. Renewals and cancellations up first. We have some renewals here. These first 2 are also technically cancellations in that they're final season, but I feel like if it's renewed for a final season, it counts more as a renewal because it's still more. I say it's more good news than it is bad news. It's you're getting your final season,
and it's getting an ending as opposed to a cancellation.
So first up, Star Wars: The Bad Batch has been renewed for a 3rd and final season on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's cool. Season 2 ended really strong. The last couple episodes were I had like one little nitpick that they kind of. So just real brief on Bad Batch. Season 2 had 2 episodes kind of sprinkled in following Crosshair, and it really felt like there should have been a 3rd, but there just wasn't one. But other than that, no, really good season.
I have nothing to comment on. I'll
Shocking.
Move on to the next thing. A League of Their Own has been renewed for Amazon for a 2nd and final season, and notably this is only going to be 4 episodes long, so effectively what they're doing is they're giving it like a little mini-series to wrap up, which is surprising after 1 season. You don't usually see that for a 1-season show, so I guess credit for giving them that.
Yeah, usually if it's 1 season, it's tough shit. You get 1 season.
Yeah.
We're not wasting money.
You know, you have to go fight for a movie and maybe get it eventually.
Yeah, maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah, but that's obviously rare, few and far between. So
yeah, and then condense all your plans into a 2-hour movie and hope it lands.
Well, did for Serenity.
Yeah, hey.
Oh, it was a commercial success, obviously, but fans of the show loved it.
yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's that. So I mean, that's based on the movie. Obviously, that's the ladies' baseball team during World War II. What do I say? All the men are off fighting, so
yeah,
they do a ladies' league instead. Movie's all right for what it is. It's decent enough time. Gina Davis and Amy Donna as an actor appearance. So. And obviously Tom Hanks as the grouchy coach. So also renewed for season 2 at Sci-Fi is The Ark, which, fair enough. I never saw the pilot of the first season or anything like that, so I don't
remember
really
hearing much about it.
Yeah, but I've heard of it. I know it exists. So I think that's maybe just airing its finale soon, so this is like kind of a, hey, season's ending, let's let everyone know it's getting a second season.
That makes sense.
If you're Dick Wolf, do you know who Dick Wolf is off the top of your head?
Yeah, he's the no, it's not CSI, but it's one of those, isn't
it? He produces a lot of shows. You'll better find out what a lot of them are. I'm about to tell you. But 6 of his shows have been renewed by NBC. 6 of them.
A lot of them are like cop shows, right?
So I'm just going to list you what these are and what season they're on. Chicago Med has been renewed for season 9.
Yeah.
Chicago Fire has been renewed for season 12. Chicago
Is it
PD,
the entire Chicago-verse?
Chicago PD has been renewed for season 11. Law and Order has been renewed for season 23.
Law and Order, that's the one I was thinking of.
Law and Order SVU has been renewed for season 25. And Law and Order Organized Crime has been renewed for season 4. Only a 13-episode season in that case, but...
He's raking it in, who cares?
Yeah, he's got 6 shows, but I think it's actually more impressive that he has 6 shows, but they're only spread over 2 franchises. Like he's got 3 shows in each franchise at the same time.
And from what I can tell, all of them do good numbers, right?
Yeah, for NBC standards, yeah, they're all doing well. And I mean, keep it at, I just said season 23 and 25 for 2 of those. Like that's I mean, honestly, what's more shocking to me though is the Chicago numbers, because I didn't realize they were up to 9, 11, and 12. I thought they were newer than that.
I thought the most recent one was newer.
Even that's on 9.
Yeah, unless there's another one that's been cancelled that was lower than that.
Chicago Law? I don't know if that's a thing. It sounds plausible.
If it's not, it will soon be.
Yeah. I don't know. But it is interesting though that Law and Order did actually go away for a while, so SVU's get more seasons now, but it came back, so now it's in pursuit, if you will.
Yeah, he'll get there.
Renewals. Cancellations. Free Ridge was cancelled at Netflix after 1 season, and Amber Brown was cancelled at Apple after 1 season. Don't ask me what either of those shows are, because I have no idea.
I don't have a clue what either of those are.
Yeah. So, we have trailers to talk about. Now, most of these come from HBO Max or another title, which we'll get to later, because a lot of news came from this this
week. You want to do the eye roll, or shall I?
Save it for the general part, because the general part's actually about the changes. But the trailers come first. So we got trailers, we got shows in development, and all that. We got a bunch of news just from Warner over their TV stuff. So, but to make these announcements, they also came with like a bouquet of trailers to like, hey, here's stuff that's coming to the service, kind of thing.
And some are more actual trailers than others.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of them literally says now in production in the trailer, which is a little bit weird, but at least there is enough clips in it to be a trailer as well. It's not like,
Yeah, a few of it are just like behind the scenes shots.
Yeah,
right?
but this is not just like like when Gore Ragnarok gets announced and it's literally a logo and nothing else. It's not that bad.
No, it's not.
There's some finished footage in here, so that's give credit. But anyway, so first up is The Penguin, which is the connected to the Batman Matt Reeves movie. Colin Farrell back as the titular Penguin. Looks like a crime show where he's a bit unhinged. If you liked his character in the movie, I feel like this probably looks alright to you.
I feel like it's probably the logical thing to do with any version of the Penguin. Really, is it the the gang mobster story?
Absolutely. But I mean, you compare this to that really goofy one on Gotham, and this definitely feels a bit more.
That wasn't the Penguin. That was
this feels like it's closer to, say, he's not got the accent obviously, but it makes me think of the Arkham version a bit more, from the games.
Yeah, okay,
the rough one where his monocle's actually a broken glass bottle like lodged in his eye. Yeah. But I mean, the trailer looks fine. Like it looks visually a lot like the movie, which I guess is good because that's kind of what you're going for.
Yeah, this is the in production trailer. So there's not a lot. Like you said, there's a few shots in there, but there's not really a lot other than, hey, this is the kind of general tone and kind of what to expect.
You do see a couple of the not guest actors, but a couple of the people they've cast in the. You've got from The Expanse. What's her name? I forget her name, but yeah, she's there. You got I guess Michael Gambon from House of Cards. He's there. Is that his name? No, that's Richard Kelly. I think his name is.
Is it Gambon?
Oh no, it's Gambon. It's something Gambon. Doesn't matter. The point is, there's some recognizable faces. None of whose names I can remember, but I know their faces.
You see them, you go, yeah, you've seen them.
You've seen them. Yeah. So decent cast. Looks fine. This is not coming till 2024, which is why it's such an early trailer. So not much to say on it. More interesting to me was a trailer for the Sympathiser, which is it's got Robert Downey Jr. in it, which is notable. Obviously, he's a big star. But the bigger thing is the director and the person sort of behind this, which is Chan-wook Park, who is a phenomenal director of Old Boy, The Handmaid, and numerous other things. So that gets me on board, then why not?
Yeah, me too. I thought this is really interesting because the basic premise is it's kind of a spy show, right? Yeah,
it's a Vietnamese man who is sent to be a mole in America. I think just after the Vietnam War, and basically it seems like Robert Downey Jr. is going to recruit him to effectively be a double or triple agent, or however you want to phrase it.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because Park did what was the name of the spy show he did on the BBC 5 or 6 years ago?
Little Drummer Girl.
Yeah, and that was very much dry British spy show. This is very much more American-style spy show. I thought it was interesting. He's clearly a fan of the genre and wants to tackle it in different ways.
Now, obviously, he's Korean, he's not Vietnamese, but I think it's interesting that this is dealing with an Asian character and how they're treated in America. I feel like maybe there's
probably unfortunately, some strong similarities to someone else's experience over there that's not Vietnamese, but probably similar stuff going to them.
Absolutely. I mean, hell, even because there's a line in the trailer where the main character's been interviewed by someone, and they say something like, "Oh, we marched for you during the war.
We were on your side."
And he's like, "What side's that?" He's like, "Vietnam's." Like, "Yeah, but north or south?" And I couldn't help but think that obviously Chan-wook Park is from Korea, which also famously split into north and south, like quite literally. Yeah. So I think there's probably some easy parallels that he might be connecting to as a filmmaker in the story, but and
also it just looks pretty good.
Yeah, there's a fun bit at the end where Robert Downey Jr. I don't think he's playing multiple characters, but I think he's in multiple disguises. So they do a quick thing at the end where
that's what my assumption was as well.
He's in like different outfits and haircuts and stuff at the end. So yeah, it looks good. Creative person behind it. I don't think he's directing every episode, but I think he's directing like the first 3, and it's probably only 8 episodes, so that's actually quite a significant portion.
Yeah.
So very good. We got a trailer as well for True Detective Night Country, starring Jodie Foster, set in Alaska, and I think the setting for this is good. I think the premise for this is good. I think the trailer felt a bit generic for my
I felt that. I remember when they kind of announced, "Hey, this is what we're doing," and it kind of sounded fun. It didn't look particularly fun.
No. It's the sort of thing, though, where I could really see it just being the way the trailer's cut. I'm not going to write it off, but the trailer did not fill me with much hype.
It's hard to get excited, because the first season obviously it had great acting, don't get me wrong, but it was the direction that kind of made it what it was. I'm not seeing any spark of like that really strong
No.
direction in this trailer.
It looks very typical, and I think the thing from the trailer that I really took away from is that there seems to be a conflict between Jodie Foster and her younger partner for this case. And every time they were sort of like sniping lines at each other or bickering and saying, "Oh, when this is done, we're done with each other," I just sort of went, "I don't. This does not feel like it's going to be fun to sit listening to them argue." I don't know. It didn't feel appealing to me. Was that conflict? But again, could just be the trailer. Not it's cut generic style to try and sell it to people.
Wouldn't be the first time, yeah.
But yeah, so that's that. There's a trailer for Gremlins: The Secrets of the Mogwai, which notably has a date now of May 23rd as well, so that's coming quite soon. It's an animated series, and Gremlins reboot, if you want to call it that. This is a weird one for me because I love Gremlins and Gremlins 2. I think they're great. This feels like this animated show is taking it in a direction that's not really for me. But I see how it fits in this style. I see how you can take Gremlins and turn it into a cartoon for kids. And that's kind of what this is more or less doing.
Yeah, I don't have particularly strong, attachment to Gremlins. No, I dislike them. I just, don't have like a really strong attachment to it. I thought this looked fun enough for what it is. It felt like you say, yeah, okay, this kind of does work, but this didn't have to be Gremlins. This could have been basically anything.
It could have been, yeah.
They're like, hey, we've got the rights to Gremlins. Let's use it.
Yeah, I mean, this is them trying to take the franchise in some sort of new direction that, they tried to do a third movie for decades, basically, and it just never happened. So this is them doing something different. And that's, I don't really mind if Gremlins changes and becomes something else. I don't really need more of it. So the two movies that exist are more than I ever really need for Gremlins. But at the same time, I'm looking at this and going, yeah, that's if the aim for this is to try and hit nostalgia buttons for people who like the movies, it doesn't seem like it's trying to do that at all. It feels like it's trying to use Gremlins and turn it into something that kids are going to grow up watching. But I get it. I can even see in the 80s the Saturday morning cartoon that Gremlins could be if you did it that way.
Yeah, honestly, I think this looks pretty fun for what it is. Like I said, they're using Gremlins just because they can, and I kind of think I prefer that to it just being, hey, look at this. You remember Gremlins for when you were kids, and instead they're just kind of aiming it more towards probably new kids. And hey, if they just go, hey, we'll go watch the movie.
Gremlins was never supposed to be a kids thing. That first movie is actually dark. I think it's R-rated. It's at least PG-13 anyway.
Say can't be R-rated, surely.
It's pretty grim. And certainly kids probably shouldn't watch it just for the Santa Claus story that comes up early on. But because the first one is basically a horror movie, it is a horror film, whereas Gremlins 2 turns it into more just comedy satire, but it's very good at what it does, even if it's different. So that is Gremlins: Secrets of the Mogwai coming May 23rd, and then our one sort of non-Warner trailer was the Continental. So this is the only 3-part. I didn't realize it was only going to be 3 episodes long, but they're doing a 3-episode.
Yeah, we did speak about that at some point.
Yeah, we probably did, but I forgot. So the Continental, of course, is from John Wick. This is a John Wick spin-off. It's set in the 1970s, so obviously before... maybe there'll be a young Winston, because obviously he's an old dude, so there can be a young Winston. But it looks like it's really trying to use its time period. The song choice, obviously everyone's got the outfits.
Very stylish.
There's glimpses of action. The real question is, though, is because John Wick is known for its action, and having just seen John Wick Chapter 4 a few weeks ago, this show has got a lot of pressure on it, because if it's going to succeed as part of the John Wick franchise, there's one thing it has to have, and that is good, inventive, and exciting action. It's the one thing it needs. It can have different characters, it can have different everything else. What it needs is the action. So
I'm hopeful. I think, it being a 3-part series probably helps, because it means that it's essentially just a slightly long movie, right? Just split up. Hopefully they do structure it for TV and it doesn't just feel like one long thing just cut up over 3 weeks or 3 nights, or however they're airing it. But I imagine that kind of gives them probably more budget to kind of focus on. Here's a handful of really strong, inventive action sequences, probably 1 per episode, as opposed to, oh, we need to have action for 12 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks honestly, it had more style. I was kind of half expecting this to look bad for some reason, just because it's a quick Peacock like spin-off cash in.
This has been in the works since before Peacock existed, I'm pretty sure.
That's probably true, but it definitely looks better than I thought it was going to. And maybe that was just me being cynical, but I don't know, for whatever reason I was expecting this to look kind of rough, but it looks alright so far. So there you go. That was the trailers that we got. This is coming in September, that last one is. So yeah, so I have some general stuff. So yeah, what we're kind of hinting at there with all those HBO trailers is that we probably mentioned it briefly at some point a few weeks ago that Zaslav seemed to think that the HBO part of HBO Max was putting people off. Like, people were turned off by HBO when it is probably one of the best associated brands with quality when it comes to entertainment worldwide.
Pretty much all of entertainment, yeah, because honestly, it's probably that, and for your personal taste aside, Disney animated films.
I would have said A24 was the next thing I would have maybe thrown in.
That also is up
but
there. Yeah.
Here's what's impressive about HBO. HBO was a known acronym all over the world when it wasn't available in most of the world. Just having that logo at the start of some of their big shows still made it translate, even though HBO as a channel itself did not exist in the UK. It didn't exist in several places.
Everyone knows that sound at the start.
It still became a thing. It still became a household entity. So HBO Max, like, honestly, the Max part was like honestly, just call it HBO. Just this is the new HBO, is this service. Just call it that.
There was always a feeling they called it Max because everyone else was using Plus, and they didn't want to use Plus as well.
Yeah, true. Plus, Max is maximum, so it's better than Plus.
Well, but is it better than Plus Plus?
Which is, and someone, like Paramount says, well, we're going to change ours to Paramount Infinite.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're changing the name, and all they've done is drop the HBO. It's just called Max now. Apparently, they debated over a few different titles. They were considering just calling it WB at one point, which I think that would have been fine. I think that would have worked because WB is pretty well known as an entity as well.
Yeah, I don't think it has the respect that HBO probably does, right? It doesn't have the
it's
pull.
A pretty
it's a broader service, though.
I think it's a more iconic logo. See, if you have the WB in that shield, that would probably look quite good as a marketing image.
That logo is very, iconic, like you say. And like, it's a broader market than HBO is. Because I think as much as HBO has a great reputation, it has a great reputation for a very specific style of thing, right? That
that's true.
Mostly that prestigious drama. I'm wondering, maybe they're worried. What about all the other things that we kind of want to have on this service that maybe the association with HBO puts them off? So I can see why you'd maybe go with WB instead, but just Max. I mean, I work with a dude named Max. He's a moron. That's all I'm ever going to think of at this show now. Not this show, this service.
Oh dear. So they're also changing their pricing structure, and this is a little bit of a rile up because there's now 3 tiers, right? They've got their ad tier, which is $10 a month, right? $9.99 specifically. They've got ad light, which is $15.99 a month, which I think is basically just no ads. The one key difference, though, between that and the highest tier, which is $19.99 a month, which is called Ultimate Ad Free, is that's the only one that has 4K now, which is particularly shitty because 4K was just included in general before. So now 4K is tied to the highest tier. So this is something we can thank Netflix for, you pricks. How dare you?
It is. I have seen people online talk about how there wasn't actually a lot of 4K content on HBO Max.
There wasn't much, no. But now...
I do wonder if this means they'll actually put more up in it. Which
You
now that,
bloody well
yeah,
hope so.
yeah, exactly.
If they're going to charge extra for it, I mean, maybe that's the one upside to it, is that they'll actually put effort into making sure most of their content is 4K now. But
it's a bit of a double-edged sword, because I think most services now do charge extra for 4K. Not all of them, but most. But it's the adding of it on.
Is it really most? Like what other streaming services other than Netflix and now Max do it? Really? Because Disney don't, Paramount don't.
Well, in the UK, you got Now TV still charging you extra for 1080p.
Well, yeah, don't let's not include Sky, okay? They're pricks.
They are.
Not only do they charge extra for 1080p, they run their stuff at 50 hertz, so the frame rate's off. They're awful.
It's awful. They are. Sorry, I think in my head I'm kind of just chucking that in with things that you have to pay extra for, and then also things like, again, Amazon Music, you have to pay extra for the high-res audio.
Oh, sure. But so, I think it's for all the services though that are worldwide, I think it is just Netflix and now Max that do it. Now it might change now, because Amazon charge you for 4K.
Amazon don't. Disney don't.
No.
Paramount
don't, I don't think. No, they've only got.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty shit. Like, it's the sort of thing where we should just be trying to push for that to be the standard, and they're trying to treat it like it's a premium thing. And at a certain point, like, that's just kind of scummy. But
I get it. It costs them more, like, to have that bandwidth.
Yeah, but I mean, most streaming services bit rates are already too low anyway, so the whole thing just reeks of shit to me. So hey, actually, slight tangent to this. I really wish services wouldn't hold content hostage on their streaming service. And what I mean by that is that if you've got a TV show or a movie, release it for purchase as well.
Oh yeah, like Netflix are like specifically, I know, are really hit and miss. You get some things that they do and some things that they just don't.
There's not a lot I would like to buy on iTunes from these services, but there's three things that spring to mind. I would like to buy Prey, but you can. It's only on Hulu or Disney Plus, depending on where you are. I'd like to buy Vast Night, but it's only on Amazon Prime. You can't, and which is annoying in that case because they've released other movies on iTunes. And I would love to buy Stranger Things on iTunes. I would, but they're not giving me the option. So, F them.
Yeah, Stranger Things is a particularly odd one, given that Netflix has released things.
They started. I don't think they kept going. I think they did the first 2 seasons on Blu-ray, and then I think it dried up after that.
And that's the thing. I get why they don't always want to release them on Blu-ray, for example, especially if it's a streaming show. They're like, well, the audience isn't there for it. There's not enough demand, but I've already got the files, the digital file. How much work can it be to put them on a digital?
It's so frustrating because I want to watch them with the better bit rate, because iTunes is a better bit rate than watch it on Netflix. Netflix, I want to pay you more money for the content individually to access it in higher quality. I'm offering you this. Give it to me.
But they're scared that if you pay 40 quid to buy, some Stranger Things outright, you'll never give them their £7 a month ever again. That's what they're terrified of.
But they could just make new content that's worth trying.
Yeah.
Just a thought, just a wild thought. I'm just saying, let me buy each season for like 20 a season. I'll do it in 4K. I'll happily do it on iTunes, please.
It's a very reasonable price for a 4K season of TV.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't think that's. I mean, keep in mind they're only 8 or 9 episodes each, so that's not go wild.
I'm aware. I'm just I'm thinking in my head. I'm pretty sure things like the Game of Thrones seasons cost more than that.
Aye, but digital's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, even on there, they not cost more than that.
I mean, I'm buying 4K movies left and right for peanuts.
Yeah, I'm aware.
I got myself a bunch of classic Warner films. Speaking of Warner, switched to 4K this past couple of weeks. I got myself Cool Hand Luke, Maltese Falcon, and what was the other one? Casablanca? No, that was already 4K.
Yeah,
what was the other one?
I can say that was on sale.
It was on sale. I got like 4 Warner Bros. Movies on sale, all in 4K. I recommend it, everyone.
Yeah, I meant to pick some up and then I forgot, and I'm assuming they're just not on sale anymore.
I don't think they are. The complete Rocky box set's on sale if you fancied that.
Yeah, I don't need it right now, and but maybe.
Yeah, the complete Nightmare on Elm Street sale's on sale as well, but it's even at 30 for like all nines a bit. It's a bit pricier than a sale item than I would like to, especially since I'd have to own the remake. That's like adding on cost to me, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah. Especially when I got all the Friday, well, not all, but I got the first 8 Friday the 13th last year for $13.
That's a steal.
That's great. And they weren't in 4K yet, but the first one is since switched to 4K, so a matter of time.
I mean, even not in 4K, that's still a steal.
Oh, that's good. It's great. They're on sale for one day on Friday the 13th for $13. Obviously, you can see what they're doing there. But
we just had a Friday the 14th.
I snapped them up. All right. Anyway, moving on. There's my iTunes rant out of the way. All right. So just a bit of casting then for this also came out of all the Mac stuff. Is we got the voice cast for Creature Commandos, which has been written entirely by James Gunn. he's writing so much these days. But Frank Grillo, David Harbour, Maria Bakalova, Indira Varma, Zoe Chow, Alan Tudyk, Sean Gunn, and Steve Agee, or Agee? I don't know how to say his last name. Agee.
I don't know. Get your pick.
Agee.
Just pick one and stick to it.
Yeah. They're going to be playing. So Sean Gunn's going to be Weasel. Grillo's going to be Rick Flag Sr. Bakalava is going to be Princess Ilana Rostovich. Varma is the bride. Chow is Nina Mazursky. Tudyk is Dr. Phosphorus. I like the sound of that. Harbour is Eric Frankenstein. And Agee is John Economos. So there's your Creature Commandos.
It's sounding like it's shaping up nicely.
Yeah. Don't have much to add. So the new comedies then for the week. So again, more HBO Max stuff here. Not a lot of details on this one, but it's worth mentioning is that they've announced that a Big Bang Theory universe show is in development with creator Chuck Lorre. He's developing a new series set in the universe. It comes from Warner Brothers. There's no details yet of what characters will be in it or what it'll be, but they're basically promising as part of their... I mean, this is more to the shareholders than anything else. We're going to have a new Big Bang Theory, on our service.
Funny Science Men sells.
Apparently.
Somehow.
Apparently. So, not much to say about that. Obviously, we don't care. Amazon has landed Sharps for development. It's a half-hour comedy from writer Flint Waynes and John Hamburg. And, of course, Aaron Kaplan's Capital Entertainment. Written and executive produced by Waynes, Sharps revolves around a 30-year-old Tyler Flynn, a nice guy with a normal job, a great girlfriend. That was kind of professional and personal. And a secret that's eaten away at him. He's one of the millions of Americans addicted to sports gambling. What? After hitting rock bottom and struggling to tell his loved ones about what he's done, he finds a way to win back everything and more when he's recruited into a sports gambling syndicate run by Buddy Casper, an eccentric, possibly psychopathic professional sports gambler, aka Sharp.
Shit Uncut Gems. 2. I always find this so weird as the American point of view on gambling, like in sports. Like that's so normal and everyday here. Like there was like literally there was horse races, Grand National today, I think. Just people are like, oh, you put anything on the horses? It's just casual. Like everyone does it.
Well, yeah, but you can still have a gambling.
You can, but the way that it's the sports gambling addiction. It's so like taboo. Like it's not just like this thing that everyone does.
Yeah, well, I think part of the problem is though is that if you get into it when it's not legal, like it isn't in a lot of the US, is that
which is bizarre.
Well, yeah, but that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that when it's not legal, you're going to shady characters in things like that
sharp.
to do it. Yeah. The point I'm making is that because it's legal in the UK and you have to go to a licensed betting place to actually make your bets, there's more like protections, and you can still gamble away all your money, sure, but like you won't have like hitmen after you. You know,
you watch me.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just so funny that is the. It always is funny to me anyway that is what happens in America. Or like that's the perception of it. Like it's such this big thing. Like I don't know.
I mean, you know, if we're solving America's problem, I think they should get some free healthcare first before they start worrying about legalizing sports gambling. It's not a need to have, is what I'm saying.
It's at least third on the list.
I don't know. Some proper chocolate, I think, is more important.
Oh no! That can be 4 because I don't care about that right now.
Yeah, because you're lactose intolerant, you can't eat any proper chocolate.
Exactly. But I can gamble on sports.
Gamble on all your chocolate money. All right, I had some animated stuff. Speaking of Stranger Things earlier, Netflix are developing a Stranger Things animated series. It's been greenlit with Flying Bark Productions and executive producer Eric Robles developing. It's unknown, you know, what the show will be exactly. I mean, obviously, you can maybe just guess an animated.
I know what it is exactly. It's please God, don't let us run out of Stranger Things.
But you can see how it would work as a kid's cartoon, though, right? You can totally,
yes.
Yeah. So there's just a quote here from the Duffer Brothers. We've always dreamed of an animated Stranger Things in the vein of a Saturday morning cartoon that we grew up loving. To see this as a dream realized, it's been absolutely thrilling. We couldn't be more blown away by what Eric Robles and his team have come up with. The scripts and the artwork are incredible, and we can't wait to share more with you. The adventure continues. So, you know, I mean, I would hope this is not the characters from the show and it's kind of like an original set of kids in their own little world, but...
You would hope. But there is a part of me that's like, this is how they're getting around the kids getting too old, is just stick them in an animated show.
I mean, cynically, this could be all the kids voicing the same characters forever, but I don't think that's what they're doing with this. It doesn't sound like it anyway, but, you know.
I think there'll be at least one of them in it.
Because I think their stories are all going to be wrapping up for season 5, so I suppose you could do it in a way where it's still not the same universe. It's like, it's okay, they're playing all their parts, but they're going to be 12 forever in this version. They're never going to like age.
Yeah.
You know, so the Simpsons, Bart and Lisa are still the same age, basically.
Yeah, even if they have a birthday every so often in an episode.
But it won't be canon with the main show then, because it'll just be this alternate reality where they never age. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. And then next up, also animated, Nicki Minaj is going to executive produce and star in Lady Danger, a new animated series from Amazon Freevee based on the Dark Horse comic book series of the same name, written by Alex D. Campe. So, alongside Minaj, producers include 50 Cent and his G Unit film and TV company. So, the series, set in the year 2075, follows a government field agent who is left for dead by her team after discovering a dangerous secret, only to be resurrected as Lady Danger, an Afrofuturistic, ass-kicking agent of BOOT, that's an acronym, Bureau of Organized Terrorism Intervention. Oh, Booty, sorry, not just Boot. Boot, there's an I at the end, sorry. Booty.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Yes, which doesn't actually makes it funnier, to be honest, a little less funny. Who must conceal her true identity while she fights villains who are destroying the earth and its vulnerable inhabitants.
Hey, they could be valuable.
They could be, but not necessarily. All right, there you go. That's the
I haven't read this. I've read some of Alex de Campe's work, and pretty good. Some of it, you know. I haven't loved all of it, but definitely some of it I've really enjoyed. So I'm open to this.
Okay. So out of the dramas then, first up is just a kind of an update really to something that was brought up last week, but it's official now. They have ordered, or they've greenlit the Harry Potter TV show. They've got J.K. Rowling on board, and they're calling it a decade-long new adaptation of the books.
A new adaptation using the same Hogwarts set, the same logo, the same theme song.
Is it the same set?
Well, the design of the castle that they showed was the same silhouette.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I saw the logo and it did. Well, it's a different color. I think it was gold now instead of silver.
Oh, I'm so sorry they changed the color.
If it's the exact same font, yes.
Yeah, and they used the John Williams theme because, I mean, we spoke about this last week. It's iconic theme. It is, but it makes this film more redundant because they're too afraid to break away from this.
Yep, I don't have anything to add. I don't care about Harry Potter, so yeah, go milk that cash cow, I suppose.
Yep,
happy days.
And they will.
Yeah. Also sticking with HBO here and Max. So they announced that they have officially ordered to series A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, which is another spin-off of Game of Thrones based on George R. R. Martin's Dunk and Egg fantasy novellas. So this is something that's actually based on some of his work.
Yes.
Yeah, so that title's a bit... Why not just A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms? Why did they have to do the subtitle?
I'd have just called it a hedge knight.
Oh, the hedge. Yeah. Well, what if it's like more anthology style, where the second season's like a different night? Huh?
I mean, they could, but the hedge knight's kind of like the big.
Okay,
one.
fair enough.
Right,
I don't know any of it. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just going based on the name. So the Game of Thrones prequel series is written and executive produced by Martin and Ira Parker. House of the Dragon co-creator, executive producer, showrunner Ryan Condal and Vince Gerardis will also executive produce. This is the synopsis. A century before the events of Game of Thrones, two unlikely heroes wandered Westeros: a young, naive but courageous knight, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his diminutive squire Egg. Set in an age where the Targaryen, how do you say that name? Targaryen, there you go.
You watched at least a season of Game of Thrones. You should know that.
I remember nothing except one beheading. On a bit of incest.
Obviously.
The Targaryen line still holds the Iron Throne, and the memory of the last dragon has not yet passed from living memory. Great destinies, powerful foes, and dangerous exploits all await these improbable and incomparable friends. Known as Dunk and Egg, the drama was one of several prequels in development at HBO, so this is the second one greenlit. Obviously, House of the Dragons had its successful first season. I know you weren't into it, but the general buzz seems to be Game of Thrones is back, and it's better than that awful last season. That's the vibe I get from the general internet.
I would say it's a low bar.
That's fair,
but probably true. I think I probably disliked the last season of Game of Thrones more than I disliked the first season of House of the Dragon. Even though I finished Game of Thrones and didn't finish House of the Dragon, it's more just it's really easy to dip out of a new show 4 or 5 episodes in than it is to. Well, you're like 3 episodes from the end of a 7-season show. You might as well wait it out.
They're basically turning it into Star Wars, where if you're hardcore into Game of Thrones, you're going to love that there's so much of it. But if you're not that passionate about more Game of Thrones, you're going to be dipping out and not getting into this extended universe stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Because now this is the third show they're just going to have.
Very briefly, I remembered some Star Wars news that you didn't mention in the casting.
Okay.
I'm completely blanking the actor's name, but Amos from Expanse.
Sure, yes. I think I saw this actually, yes. Amos.
Yeah, I'm sure he was cast in...
West Chatham, or what his name is.
Yes, he was cast in, I think it was Ahsoka, which, and by cast, I mean, they announced he was cast, because obviously that's like well-finished shooting at this point, as one of Thrawn's right-hand men, which is kind of cool.
Okay. We'll move on. So, relatively big bouquet of things from MGM/Amazon. Not a lot for each of them, but kind of like, they bought the MGM library, did Amazon, right? And obviously, they've already talked about wanting to do the Creed verse on Amazon Prime and their whatnot.
God, no.
But now they're mining MGM's library for other things, and they're
what do they have?
Well, you're about to hear about a lot of them. So they're developing a lot of these as both TV and movie projects, not necessarily related to each other, but the idea that they're doing one of each. And then there's a couple of things that are just movies that I'll mention at the end, just to be complete more than anything else. So each title's been approached. They've been mining the studio library for developing projects, Some have been steered towards film, some towards TV, and a lot of the big ones are getting both. Potentially, they might not actually end up greenlighting everything, but they're developing all these things. So, they're in early conversations on Legally Blonde, both for a movie and a potential TV show. There's been on and off attempts at a third movie for a long time.
Like, sure, another movie. I'm not gonna say, oh, we're all waiting for it, but that wouldn't be that surprising, right? But
No,
a TV show as well.
Yeah. Well, it's the sort of thing though. They'll maybe decide which one looks more promising, and only greenlight the one. So it might not be a case of getting both. And that goes for all these, I think. Stargate next up. They're working on both film and TV installments are being considered. But it
makes sense.
It does say here though the movie's likely going to be first. So
that's reasonable. It's got a history of having both anyway.
Yeah. Then of course, probably the biggest thing I think they have, other than Rocky MGM and its library, is Robocop. They're talking about both film and TV for this, but it specifically mentions here that the TV show is probably first out of the options here, which is interesting. It's not the first time Robocop's had a TV show. It had a one-season TV show back in the early to mid-90s. So.
Did Robocop have the animated one?
I don't know if I think there might have been but it was a live-action TV show for one season.
Yeah. I felt like there was an animated Robocop cartoon, like as Robocop was kind of new.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I ever saw it, but it sounds reasonable enough. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have I love Robocop. The first movie's excellent, right? And I even quite enjoyed the second movie. So the remake was pretty rough. So I'd be curious to see, especially in this era now where we're more about nostalgia. Like, are they going to try and make it look like the original Robocop again? Are they going to try and have that aesthetic? Or are they going to try and do a reimagining? Like, I'm curious what their tactic's going to be with that.
I think on a personal level, this is one of the properties I'd be more interested in seeing them do it as a TV show.
Sure.
I think, like you say, they've already got one great movie. Yeah, at least most people will agree on that. And then, okay, they tried the remake. Who knew what they were aiming for there? You could do a nostalgia movie, and it'll kind of just hit those same sort of beats. But I'm hoping that the nostalgia movie kind of trend wave is kind of starting to die down now. So maybe they won't go with that.
You hope.
Hope, yeah. Which means that, hey, let's do as a TV show, flesh things out, do it a little, wider world stuff in it.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about Robocop is that it's supposed to have a good, healthy dose of satire, right? That's like a big part of its DNA. And I guess the slight worry is that any attempt at Robocop, and I think the remake was guilty of this, where the satire was just gone. Like, it was just sort of. I'm not saying you can't tell a good Robocop story that's played straight, and it is just like, oh, the heroic, half man, half cyborg kind of guy saves the day. That can still be good. It can still work. But for it to be Robocop,
right? Hear me out.
Yeah.
They double bill it with the boys.
Okay, I can see it. I can see it. Yeah.
They take that sort of approach to it.
Get Eric Kripke on it. Aye, just like when he's done with the boys, give him Robocop.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. Do a crossover. Robocop versus Homelander.
I'm there for it.
He just walks in, dead or alive, you're coming with me. Perfect.
Deep vision.
Yeah, so they're also developing TV shows for Fame. You know Fame?
Yeah.
I want to live forever.
Yeah.
Barbershop, which is the comedy series with a bunch of people in it. I can't remember. I've never seen Barbershop. I'm not even going to guess, but there's like three of them, I think.
With it, yeah.
Yeah. I want to say it's Ice Cube that's in it. I could be wrong, though.
Possibly. Could be him, yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, that, and then the Magnificent Seven is also as a TV show.
We need another version, yeah.
Yes. So those are all TV shows in development. not a lot to go on for any of them, but I mean, if you're familiar with the movies they're based on, then you'll understand. The question is that how many of these are going to be reboots? How many of them are going to be set in the same universe, so they're going to act like kind of a sequel to the original things? Like,
I don't know. Like, something like Magnificent Seven will just be another reboot, right? It'll just be a TV version of, and I say of the movie, but like of just that story at this point.
Yeah. And let's be honest, what it really is Seven Samurai.
Yeah, but look, all I'm saying is the best adaptation of Seven Samurai. Obviously, that's still the best one, but the best adaptation is still Bug's Life.
I didn't think Magnificent Seven was that good, so I'm not even going to argue that. But I do wonder if there's like a TV episode somewhere that I think is better than A Bug's Life. There might be, but I'd have to think about it.
Also, there's some anime that are based on it as well, but obviously that's not to your tastes.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick that. And just on top of that, they're also developing movies potentially for the Thomas Crown Affair and maybe an animated Pink Panther movie. So lots in the works. They've got this MGM library and they want to mine it for IP. Yeah.
Hey, they bought it for a reason.
Yep. So that's what they're going to do. There you go. Back to some Max related news, actually. One of the things they're developing now, because they have to milk everything they have, is a TV show set in the Conjuring universe.
Why?
Because
you just told me to milk everything they have. Yeah.
Because all the movies aren't enough. Peter Safran is developing the drama series based on New Line Cinema's film franchise with Warner Bros. Television. It'll be continuing the story established in the feature films. James Wan, who directed the first two movies, is in talks to executive produce, which doesn't really mean much. But
it means he'll give his stamp of approval and go, yeah, sure, do what you want.
And he will be paid for it, yes. Yeah, that's how that works. I mean, the Conjuring universe to me is already kind of a big dud because, like, the first movie's good, the second movie I think is a bit better, third movie's not that good. But honestly, the spin-offs, by and large, like, there's one that's kind of okay, but the most of them just kind of suck.
I haven't watched any of the spin-offs. I've just watched the main ones. Yeah, I think 2 is easily the best. I like 1's still really good. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, 1's a good.
2's great. 3's fine. But yeah, I didn't watch any of the spin-offs at all because none of them looked very appealing, and no one has ever convinced me otherwise.
No, I wouldn't recommend any of them. So that is Conjuring TV show. Again, a lot of this stuff from Max and like the MGM stuff were all pretty like, that was all just like, here's a title, we're developing it. There wasn't much in the way of synopsises, but
please be excited.
Please be excited. Again, probably more for shareholders to ensure then that there's like bankable content coming.
Yeah.
Speaking of things coming back, though, there's another remake or reboot in the works, and that is Baywatch. Is
again.
Well, the last time was a movie. To be fair, this is a TV show again. Fremantle has been developing a reboot of the classic beach drama series, and has got early talks with a number of broadcasters and streamers. So Baywatch at its peak was like the most successful TV show while it was airing, which it wasn't its whole time because it lasted like 11 years. And infamously has a spin-off called Baywatch Nights where David Hasselhoff investigates supernatural and paranormal shit, even though the main Baywatch show never had anything like that.
Yeah, but you don't question the Hoff.
It's just funny to me. It's like, because you have Buffy and Angel, right? You have the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, then you have Angel. It's like that, but say, like, your first show is like a legal drama, and then one character goes off to the side, and all of a sudden they're fighting vampires. This is the equivalent of that.
Did you not know that Wolfram and Hart came from Law and Order SVU?
Dun dun.
That's the funniest thing you could have done right then.
I've never even seen an episode. I just know that noise.
Yeah, everyone does.
I'm assuming it's in all the Law and Orders, not just the original one.
Probably. I mean, they'd be fools not to.
Yeah, they'd be fools. So yes, Baywatch is possibly coming back. It's about a bunch of lifeguards patrolling the beaches in California. There you go.
Yeah, they save the day and they look good while they do it.
Yes, and they get into lots of hijinks and whatnot. So yes, I've never really watched Baywatch. It seems like the sort of trashy TV that might be fun to like make fun of and faff around with.
I can see the appeal. Yeah.
You know, it's got that kind of dumb 90s kind of sensibility to plot lines, and like, you know, they have serious episodes where a character will get cancer and they have to talk seriously about the subject and all the rest of it. I have seen a lot of clips from the episode that has Hulk Hogan in it,
Of course you have.
where he has to do a wrestling match with Ric Flair to save like the youth center or something like that. So they decide to settle it in a wrestling ring, but it's really weird because it's like treating wrestling like a real thing in the show.
This is peak 90s TV.
Yeah, that's, you know, so to use wrestling terms, it's treating wrestling like a shoot, but it's not. It's a work.
Yes.
To put those terms in context for you, Connor, a work shark would be a fake shark. A shoot shark is a real shark.
Thank you for the shark related context. That made everything much better.
Well,
I can't wait for you to say loan shark as well at some point. My brain's broken.
Well, I'm just imagining a scene where you're doing like a swimming scene and there's a shark, right? For danger, right? Because the scene's about someone getting chased down by a shark, right?
Yeah.
You say, is it a shoot shark or a work shark? And, you know, work means it's a fake, so it's like an animatronic or something like that. And a shoot shark means it's a real shark.
Okay, just for some background, my brain kind of broke for a second then, because as I was walking home, so I don't use TikTok. I don't.
I can't wait to hear how a shark factors into you walking home, but go on.
Right, okay. Well, so some of my friends at work, you know, they're on TikTok because that's what people do. And every so often, you know, they'll on the walk home, they'll scroll through and just show, these are some of the funny ones that I've seen recently, you know, because they know I don't have it, so they'll show me some of the ones that I might appeal. For some reason, his TikTok algorithm is full of sharks, and I was like, why are there so many sharks? He's like, I don't know. And then you started talking about sharks now, and like, I get it. The context here is Baywatch, but my brain just had a moment where I'm like, what's going on? Why are there so many sharks tonight?
Yeah. Well, that's me. Anyway, let's move on, shall we?
Please.
Sherlock producer Hatswood Films has won the rights to adapt Cold War magic thriller The Warlock Effect into a TV show.
I'm in.
The debut novel about a magician who flees Nazi Germany and is lured into espionage was written by Jeremy Dyson and Andy Nimmin, and creators of Ghost Stories theatre production. The book released on Thursday centers on Ludwig Weinschenk. I'm just going to say that again because it was fun. Ludwig Weinschenk, a boy who escapes tyranny in Germany and becomes the most famous magician in the 1950s Britain under the stage name Lewis Warlock. His talent for deception attracts the attention of the British Secret Service, and he is thrown into the world of espionage on a mission across Europe.
I love this. I don't know if he's an actual like magic magician or if he's just a stage magician. Either way, I'm in.
Yeah, he does magic tricks.
Slightly less interesting, but I'm still in.
They're illusions, Michael. A trick is something a whore does for money. And candy.
You done?
Just because you've not watched Arrested Development and can't enjoy the reference, don't give me that face.
I know the reference because you've made it at least 3 times before on this show.
This is such a good line. All right. Warner Brothers has acquired the rights to Jesse Q. Santano's latest novel, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. Oprah Winfrey's Harpo Films will develop the book for television, with Mindy Kaling's production company, Kaling International. The novel follows Vera Wong, a lonely widow living in San Francisco's Chinatown, who wakes up one morning to find a dead body on the floor of her struggling tea shop. No one is more curious than a suspicious Chinese mother with time on her hands, so Vera decides to start her own investigation.
Okay. Kind of sounds pretty generic.
Okay.
By the end, it was like it started off being like, oh, it's this unique setting. But by the end, it's like, okay, it's a murder mystery.
All right. Let's take us on to our last story of the week. We have a series of best-selling novels, or no, actually, it's basically two best-selling novels that are being adapted. It's Jennifer
It's a small
Egan's
series.
A Visit from the Goon Squad and its sequel, The Candy House, are being developed by A24, who won the rights to the books. Olivia Wilde is attached to direct the series, and will also executive produce. A Visit from the Goon Squad won the 2011 Pulitzer Prize and is a set of 13 interrelated stories with a large set of characters all connected to Benny Salazar, a record company executive, and his assistant, Sasha. And then the best-selling 2022 follow-up novel, The Candy House, revisits some of the same characters and their progeny. So it's 13 sort of shorter stories that are all interconnected that make up the...
So it's Octopath Traveler and Octopath Traveler 2.
Well, yeah, but what's the word that means 13? I bet you don't know it. Aye, because you're shit. You're shit at this.
Do you know it?
No, but you brought it up. You're the one who said Octopath, and it's not 8.
Well, no, well, hey, it's close.
Okay, and I wonder if Olivia Wilde will be unprofessional and steal the star of this TV show away and fondle them instead of shooting more scenes.
And I assume for the show that each episode is following a different character, and then you do something to tie them together.
I can see them condensing it a bit from 13 though. I don't know if we'll get 13 episodes because that's... I mean, it can, but I feel like most are less than that now.
Yeah, but maybe that's your whole shtick, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends how much content each one of those characters has, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I don't really have much to add on it, to be honest. There you go. That's the TV news for the week. So happy days. What are you most excited for? Let us know in the comments. But that'll about do it for another week.
Do you know what we didn't have, though?
What?
News on the writer's strike.
We didn't. Well, there was some updates about how they're like campaigning. Like the writers are talking in social media and stuff, like asking for support. But yeah, I assume we'll have an update soon.
Yeah, I'd have thought by next week.
Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, let us know what you thought of the news this week in the comments. Like, subscribe. But if you want to support the content, you can do that over at patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. Or if you want to do a one-time thing, you can hit the super thanks button on YouTube. But any and all support is very much appreciated. But that is the show. That is TV news for the week. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?